Benjamin Franklin once said, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." He wasn't talking about prevention of diseases with this quote. However, it can still apply when talking about diseases and keeping our pets and ourselves healthy. The best way to prevent disease is by vaccination. Hi, my name is Niehaus, and this is my third year in 4-H. I'm from the Darby Clovers 4-H Club, and I'm taking a vet science project this year. You may be asking yourself, is it really important to vaccinate your pets? The answer is yes. There are many reasons to vaccinate your pet. Most importantly, they are easy to give and they are used to prevent many common deadly diseases. Compared to the cost of treatment of disease, vaccines are much more affordable. And some diseases can even be transmitted from pets to people. So by keeping our pets healthy, we keep ourselves healthy as well. Wow, there are a lot of reasons to vaccinate your pet. But how does a vaccine work? In other words, how does a vaccine prevent disease? In order to answer this question, I need to explain a little bit about the body's immune system. Just like the U.S. Army defends our country, the immune system defends the body against foreign attackers, mainly bacteria or viruses. The immune system is a complex system in the body that is made up of mainly white blood cells, memory cells, and proteins called antibodies. The white blood cells can be thought of as the soldiers in the army, and the antibodies can be thought of as the weapons. Specific antibodies are used to fight against specific diseases or viruses. Just like it takes time for the army to prepare for war, it takes time for the immune system to produce antibodies. So if the immune system doesn't produce antibodies fast enough, the animal would get sick. Hopefully, once enough antibodies have been produced by the immune system, the animal will recover. Luckily, the immune system also has memory cells that keeps the blueprints for producing these antibodies. So next time the invader decides to attack, it will take hours instead of days, and the animal may never even feel sick. Wow, the immune system is really complex. Equally complex is the way in which a vaccine works. The vaccine activates the immune system to start fighting because the vaccine resembles the real bacteria or virus. It is just a modified bacteria, so it will not cause disease. Once the immune system starts producing antibodies against the vaccine, the memory cells remember how to make the antibodies. So when the real invader decides to attack, it won't take as long and can fight it off faster and more efficiently. Now I'm going to briefly tell you about the common diseases vaccinated for in dogs. The diseases are distemper, hepatitis, influenza, parvovirus, leptospirosis, kennel cough, rabies, and Lyme disease. Distemper affects the whole body, mostly the nerves, and can lead to death. Hepatitis is a deadly disease that affects the liver. Influenza, also known as the canine flu, is a respiratory infection. Parvovirus mostly affects puppies, and its key symptoms are bloody diarrhea and vomiting. Leptospirosis, often shortened to lepto, causes kidney and liver failure. It is a disease spread by a bacteria called Bordetella, or Leptospira. Kennel cough is a disease spread by a bacteria called Bordetella, and it affects the respiratory system. And I'm sure you've all heard of rabies. Rabies is a deadly disease that affects the nervous system, specifically the brain, which can lead to aggression. Animals that get rabies are referred to as rabid, and diseases like rabies that can be spread from the pet to people are called zoonotic. Lyme disease is a disease spread by a specific species of tick, and it affects multiple systems. Now, many of the diseases are specific to puppies. So when can you start giving your puppy a vaccine? At birth, the puppy's immune system is not fully functional yet. Therefore, is not equipped to adequately respond to a vaccine immediately after birth. Your puppy needs to be a certain age before you vaccinate. If you vaccinate your puppy too early, it will not harm your puppy, but it will not be helpful either. Luckily, if their mom has been vaccinated and has antibodies, she can transfer many of her antibodies to her puppies. Your puppy needs to be 6 to 8 weeks of age when you start vaccinating, and then receive monthly vaccines until they are about 16 weeks old. You also need to repeat vaccines after a certain period of time. We call these booster shots. When you first give your vaccine, there is a low level of antibodies in the bloodstream. After a few days have passed, the level of antibodies have increased, and the memory cells remember how to make those antibodies. Then the antibody level slowly starts decreasing, and the memory cells slowly start forgetting. That's when you give your booster shot. It boosts the memory and the level of antibodies in the bloodstream. Then they slowly start decreasing again, but not as much as they did the first time, and so on and so on. Now, where do you give the vaccine? You give the vaccine either in the mouth, called orally, intranasal vaccines are sprayed up the nose, and finally, injectable vaccine is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. You give an injection either in the muscle or in the space between the muscle and the skin, called the subcutaneous space. Today, I am giving my injection on the subcutaneous space over the hip. Before you vaccinate, you typically have an assistant to restrain the dog. Restraint is important because if you don't have good restraint, the dog can turn and bite you, move away from your needle, or even knock your needle out of your hand. Restraint is important for the safety of you, people around you, and the dog. This is a syringe. The syringe is used to give most injections and other vaccinations. And like this syringe, it came in a sterile package with the needle already attached. It just needed to be locked in place by pushing down and twisting. Now first, you take your bottle and poke your needle into your bottle. And you inject a little air into the bottle. Then you draw up how much medicine you need, and you pick up the skin over the hip or wherever you are going to vaccinate. This forms a tent shape. You want to poke your needle into the base of the tent. You don't want to go directly in, or then you would go too deep into the muscle, and we want to be in that subcutaneous space. Then you push down on the plunger to inject your medication. And that's it. Now it's up to the immune system to do the rest and protect the body. Now let's review. I've talked about the importance of the vaccine and why we should give it. I talked about the immune system and how the vaccine works. I talked about the diseases and their key symptoms. I briefly mentioned the importance of good restraint. And most importantly, I showed you how to vaccinate a dog. Now remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And vaccinations is a great way to prevent disease. Visit your veterinarian with your pet to learn more about vaccinations. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
Does anybody have any questions? What did you enjoy most about your project this year?
The question was, what did I enjoy most about my project this year? I definitely enjoyed learning about how to vaccinate a dog.
Do you have any other pets?
The question was, do I have any other pets? I have 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Do the cats need to be vaccinated as well?
The question was, do cats need to be vaccinated as well? And the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.